Hello, everyone. This is Kristin, aka Miss Filmingo, along with my co-host, Mac Movie Reviews. How you doing?
What's good?
Today we got a special episode. Do you want to know what the episode is about, Mac? Because I know you
What
ready.
what are we doing?
What are we doing? We're talking Out Come the Wolves.
Yes. The film by Adam MacDonald.
That is expected to hit theaters and VOD starting August 30th. And you are right. It's directed by Adam MacDonald, who previously directed Backcountry. Did you see Backcountry?
No, I do know that he's the voice of the killer in one of my favorite movies of last year, Thanksgiving.
Yes, and I actually got to talk to him because today we're speaking with Adam as he goes over his latest film. But I did see Backcountry. It's like another nature horror film that's similar to Out Come the Wolves, but this has bears, you know,
Bears.
big bears, like, like think Grizzly Man, Warner Herzog doc, if you know what that is.
No.
Out Come the Wolves. It's a brand new film. Let me give you guys a quick rundown of it. It's about a retired hunter. Sophie invites her fellow hunter and childhood best friend Kyle to her family's secluded cabin deep in the woods. There, she plans for Kyle to meet and teach her fiance, Nolan, how to hunt for an article he's writing and to share the news of their engagement. Tensions flare between Kyle and Nolan over their shared history with Sophie. It starts to escalate during the hunt that goes airy when they are ambushed by a vicious pack of territorial wolves. As alliances fracture under the pressure of survival, Sophie is forced to rely on her long-abandoned hunting powers to face the deadly predators and save the one closest to her heart. That was a mouthful, but it gets the point across of this high, intense thriller. Before we jump into our interview with Adam, what did you think of the film?
It was an interesting watch because I'm looking through Mr. McDonald's filmography, and I think he has a thing for Wolves because he did Wolves back in 2014. So it's a lot of interest in Wolves with Jason Momoa actually, and Lucas Till. But no, I thought this movie was very I thought it was entertaining. The
Lucas
thing
Till has been a name I haven't heard in a while.
it was Monster Trucks. That's his magnum opus, nothing else. But I think with this movie, I like it. I could bind it more of like Prey meets the Gray, Prey the Gray. It's very like there is like I mentioned before, he does have a good relationship with Eli Roth, so I can see that there's a lot of inspiration from that because this film is kind of bloody a bit, and I love it. I love films that have that extra gore factor, and the gore looks very practical, so I'll give respects to that because
It does
C-
really practical in here.
CGI blood, it's fine, but if you can use practical stuff, is good. I thought that the story was, kind of unique, and it did keep me guessing a bit, and I just had fun with it. I will say, would I consider this putting it on like my 31 Nights of Halloween reviews? Maybe, but I
Oh,
probably would.
that's coming up.
I'd probably say like I'd probably put this on during the month of October because it can count as like a horror winter movie if you think
It's
about it.
giving like very fall vibes,
I mean, if you look at
especially like
the
the camping
poster,
scene. Yeah, and the
yeah.
poster. And I must say, I really liked the horror elements, especially like towards like the last like 30 minutes of that high intensity. For it,
Mhm.
this one was not a long film either. I think it was like around like I don't know. It was
I think it clocked in like
like 90
90,
minutes.
about that. I think it clocked in.
So I really enjoyed it. I liked the performances from Missy Pegram, Joris Jansky, and Damon
Runyon.
Runyon. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed talking to Adam. He's also a actor as well, and he actually has connections with a majority of the talent that is involved because he worked on a show called Rookie Blue, not the U.S. version, but the Canada version of Rookie Blue.
I've watched both of them and I like Rookie Blue. I
Which
like
one do
both
you
of them.
prefer? If you had to pick
I think,
one.
well, the I like the American version, but I did watch the Canadian version because you always just want to see what the original one is, and it's pretty good. I think they're both good.
Yeah, fair enough. I haven't seen it, but I like seeing how everybody was connected because somebody wrote the screenplay who was on Ricky Blue, and it's just seeing how they're all connected is really, really nice.
Hmm.
but George Jansky actually was in God's Country and the film we previously talked about on here, The Little Things. I mean, Out Come the Wolves is better than The Little Things, so
Anything's better than the little
it's fair
thing.
enough.
So
And
it's
then
not. That was
and
a
then I
fun.
want to bring up one thing that Damon was actually on the Degrassi Next Generation.
Oh, the one where Drake got shot.
I think so. Is that the one?
I think so. That's the one. He was Jimmy and he got shot.
Oh gosh.
That
Oh
was a
yeah, I remember
classic.
watching that season, but I couldn't remember. Like to me, when I watched Degrassi, I always called it Degrassi. Like it was all under the same thing. All the characters were connected somehow, so I always called it Degrassi. I never knew what was the Next Generation, what was not. I just
Well,
never
actually,
paid attention to
tech
that.
technically, it was Degrassi first, and then it was the Next Generation, and then they had
Then they had a spin-off.
the next class.
And then that was like a Netflix thing. And then I
Yeah.
remember like
But Next Generation was the one, and I do see him on here. And yeah, this is the one where this is the season where Drake got shot. This is well, it wasn't he wasn't Drake yet. He was still Aubrey Graham. But
Aubrey
yeah,
Graham.
yeah, he got shit. That's like the one thing I think everyone remembers from the show because the internet was like, yeah, Drake was in this. He's in a wheelchair. He's Jimmy.
And then I want to bring up more again with Eli Roth because I was watching like I always like to watch the credits at the end and see like who like the creative team likes to thank. And Eli Roth is thanked at the end of the credits. And like you said, he worked on Thanksgiving, and I brought that up in our interview. And he talks about his relationship with Eli and how he sent him a copy of the film and he gave his thoughts on it. So it's nice to see that the two of them were like still bonded, you know, after this entire time, especially with the hype of Thanksgiving. I mean, we're gonna get that sequel that comes out later on next year. Hopefully, Adam is gonna return to be the voice of it, of the iconic John Carver. And then one last thing I want to mention. So, if you're into Liam Neeson's The Gray, the 2011 film, do you remember that film when that came out?
Yeah, it had an ending where it was badass, where he
It
was at
gives
the.
the vibes of that. So, guys, I want you all to check out Out Come the Wolves starting August 30th in theaters and on video on demand, and it'll eventually hit Shudder. But we want to thank IFC Films and Shudder for sending us an advance copy of the film to check out. And Mac, are you ready to cut to our interview with Adam?
Yes, I am.
All right, let's kick it. Lovely to meet you, Adam. It's so great.
You too. Nice to meet you, Kristin.
So, congratulations on all the hard work on your latest feature. I really did enjoy it.
Oh, good. It'd be bad if you didn't, but yeah, cool. Thank you.
So, this story is like a little different from what I saw in Backcountry. And why did you want to tell this story? And why specifically do you drive towards telling like nature thrillers?
It's always I wanted an excuse to work with my friends again too. I love working with Missy. She's awesome, and we're trying to find another movie together. And this was 10 years in the making, so we had like a lot of a gestation period, rewrites, all this stuff to get it there. Took forever to do it, but we're finally here. And you know, she's great to work with. I wanted to work with my friend Yoris Jarsky as well. Who came up with the original idea to the movie. And then also like Missy's from Vancouver, right? So she really wanted to like do the dirt bikes and the four-wheelers and the action and the hunting. She was very attracted to that. She really wanted to, and the character, because she usually does like a procedural cop show usually. She wanted to like just branch out a bit, do her thing. And so that's why I really wanted to make that movie, but also the relationship drama. I'm always like enamored with relationship dramas as well, coupled with horrors or thrillers, because I love Derek Sanfrance. He's one of my favorite directors. I love Blue Valentine. I love Place Beyond
Blue
the Pine.
Valentine. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that was my pitch for Backcountry. It was like Blue Valentine's in the woods too. Like it's that kind of, right? It's a breakdown relationship. So that's what interests me. So you have to have really good actors, and then they came on, and the woods is my favorite backdrop. It's just I gravitate towards it. I grew up a lot of my life in the woods, and part of my life in the woods. I find them majestic and interesting and beautiful and frightening. And so we put that all together, and I just, you know.
What excites you the most about horror and thrillers and telling that as a filmmaker?
To be brutally, just to be honest, I really want to give the feeling, my biggest objective is to give you the feeling I got when I saw the Jurassic Park attack with the T-Rex, when I saw The Edge,
Fair.
I saw The Evil Dead, I like it's transformed or like exciting. Like I see Dunkirk and I'm like, I want to give that to somebody, to be honestly. I just gravitate towards horrors and thrillers because they move me. They're the ones that move me. Those are the ones I seek out. Even as an actor, I wanted to play and do more of those than comedy. I never liked to play, didn't like acting in comedies, but so that's really what it is. So I'm sitting down with an audience. My hope is I want to give you the shower scene. I want to give you that.
You want to give me the scare?
Yes.
I love that because I'm a
Insightful.
huge horror nerd. Like I love horror. You could see, you know, I La La
No, I
Land.
can
That's
tell.
like, you know, that's just my other half. The other half,
Yeah.
I like absorb horror and it's like my passion. So this is like, you know, cool getting to talk to you because you are also known for starring in the Thanksgiving films and working with Eli Roth. And, you know, can you talk about your connections to Eli Roth? Because I also
Yeah.
saw he was like mentioned as like a post in the credits as a thank you.
Yeah.
So I'd love seeing that.
Oh yeah, no, he's great. He's such a good guy and he's very helpful. He's been very good to me. No, he brought me on. He was an executive producer on a show for Discovery called Haunted Museum.
Yeah.
And that's when we first met. So I did like the Dybbuk box and he saw it and he sent me this beautiful note and we stayed in touch. And then I did the rough cut of Out Come the Wolves. I sent it to him if he wanted to like give me some thoughts. He gave me some great feedback, very supportive of the movie, and he was very excited and he was awesome. And then he asked me to, you know, do a voice for come on and do something for Thanksgiving for him. So we stayed in touch. Or whenever like he's become almost a mentor, like you know, a couple times had some rough spots with certain things, and I'd call him to get advice, and he would give me this great advice and make me feel better about certain things and give me kind of a good perspective. So I don't know. I have nothing but good things to say about Eli. He's been very I've been very fortunate to have a friendship with him and know him. But then yeah, like he liked the movie, and I just said, you know, I asked would he be willing to offer a quote for the movie just to help the movie out if he wants to, and he was yes, absolutely, and he's generous. He's a good guy. He's a good person.
I love a lot of his like unique takes with horror because there's like his body horror and then there's like the fun horror with, you know, with Thanksgiving, you know. How did you get connected to working with Shudder and IFC Films?
IFC Midnight picked up Backcountry at TIFF 10 years ago. So I've only had movies with IFC, which I love because they're such a great partner. They really support the films. They're honest. They really want it to succeed. You feel like they have your back, which is really refreshing. And Shudder came on because they were interested in Pyewacket at TIFF, and I met Sam, who's a great person as well. And then I got involved in Slasher. So Slasher's part of Shudder.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a great family. It's like, you know, I'm very fortunate to doing Slasher, which I love shooting that show, and that's on Shudder. And Shudder, you know, Backcountry went on Shudder, Pyewacket on Shudder because they're the companies under the same umbrella, right? Partners. And IFC Wolf's been in the development for so long that it was part of IFC Midnight. And then it became IFC Films. So now it's an IFC Films Shudder original kind of thing.
I love that.
Yeah, and because as a filmmakers too, like sometimes it's you want them to understand what you're trying to do, to be, you know, almost like really good custodians of what you do to bring it out there because you're trusting them because they're the ones that are going to bring it out to the world.
Right.
And IFC has been nothing but, and Shudder, like the best partners.
They've been releasing a lot of great horror films over the last few years, and I get excited whenever I see their logo, like either at Sundance or at, you know, Tribeca, and now I get to see your project. So what is next for you as a filmmaker and an actor?
I have something in development with IFC. There's been no press release yet, but it is horror. It's from a best-selling book. And all I can say, it does involve zombies, and that's all I'll say for now. And I'm also working on a TV show again right now. But yeah, so a couple of things coming, hopefully sooner than Out Come the Wolves, which took 10 years.
I just can't get over it took you like 10 years to put it together.
Sometimes that happens. You know, Missy was involved for a long time, but she had 2 kids, you know,
Yeah.
we're to shoot, and she had 2 kids. And also sometimes the financing falls through, sometimes the timing is off, sometimes all that stuff. You know, COVID happened, and there's all these like variables, but then you got to trust that the movie will find a way. It'll be born into the world or create when it's ready. That's what you have to trust.
Well, I'm just gonna wrap it up and say thank you so much for your time. It was great speaking with you.
You too, Kristin. Appreciate it.